This story is about how a criminal can escape punishment for years, even though many factors point to his involvement. A 13-year-old girl disappeared in a small town, and her disappearance was noticed only a day later. This case could not be solved for more than 10 years, and only in the summer of 2021 did it come closer to its denouement. In this video, we will tell you what happened to Hayley Dun. In December 2010, a popular high school cheerleader disappeared without a trace, leading to a frantic search in her hometown of Colorado City, Texas. But Hayley Dun's disappearance has always been shrouded in mystery, with many questions surrounding the circumstances surrounding when the incident occurred. Investigation Discovery's book, Still a Mystery: The Death of Innocence, highlights the search for Hayley that ended in tragedy years later. So let's find out more about what happened next. Colorado City is a typical small America. With an area of 14 square kilometers, only 4,000 people lived in the city. At Christmas 2010, a New Year's atmosphere reigned in the city. Residents decorated their homes, participated in festive events, and had fun. 13-year-old Hayley Dun was no exception. For Christmas, she was given a new iPad, which she was incredibly happy about. Hayley lived with her mother Billy and her boyfriend Sean, as well as her older brother David. Her mother divorced her natural father, Clint, when the girl was 10 years old, but they never stopped communicating. The fact is that the father lived literally across the street from Hayley's house. That's why they saw each other almost every day. The girl was very close to her father and tried to spend time with him as often as possible. Relatives and friends described the girl as cheerful, and energetic. She was on her school's cheerleading team, participated in track and field, and played the saxophone. In addition, Hayley was on 3 sports teams. Christmas Day was December 26th, and the girl spent most of her time at her father's home unpacking gifts. After that, she came home, played video games, and went to bed. The next day, her stepfather and mother went to work. Before leaving, Billy looked into her daughter's bedroom while she was still sleeping. Sean worked in another city, which was about half an hour away by car. According to him, that day he had an argument with his boss, as a result of which he was fired and left work just 10 minutes after arriving. After this, he went to his mother's house, spent some time there, and returned to Colorado City about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. In the evening, Sean went to pick Billy up from work. When they arrived home, Billy noticed that her daughter was not at home. Sean told her that during the day the girl came into his room and said that she was going to her father's house. After that, she planned to go to a friend and spend the night with her. Hayley often stayed overnight with friends, so her mother took this information calmly. In such small towns, there is often an illusion of safety, so parents are less worried that something might happen to their child. The next day, December 28th, Hayley never came home. Billy decided to call the parents of her friend, where her daughter was supposed to spend the night. However, they were not even aware that Hayley planned to spend the night at their house. She didn't show up there. It later turned out that the girl did not even go to her father's house. Then Billy became seriously worried and decided to ask the neighbors if they had seen her daughter. At about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Billy contacted the police, but they decided to take the simplest route. The main version of the police was an escape from home, which initially harmed the investigation. Voluntary escape is not investigated to the same level as a missing minor. They searched Billy and Clint's houses and brought search dogs to the scene the next day. They followed Hayley's trail from her house to a local motel. It was very strange. None of the motel employees saw this girl. She was not caught on any security camera, and a full search of the building did not bring any results. Trained dogs pointed to the motel, but the girl apparently never appeared there. As soon as the news of Hayley's disappearance spread throughout the city, dozens of concerned people joined the search. Some inspected the area, others printed and distributed leaflets. And here we come to another strange moment. Clint, the girl's natural father, practically never left the streets. He looked into every corner, examined every possible secluded place, even looked into garbage containers. According to him, he simply could not sit at home and wait. Meanwhile, Billy and Sean were not so enthusiastic. The mother handed out leaflets, but refused to go around the neighborhood looking for her daughter. She explained this by saying that the search gave her the impression that they were already looking for her body and there was no chance of finding the girl alive. As for Sean, he had absolutely no involvement. But this is not the strangest thing. On December 31, 4 days after the girl went missing, Billy and Sean threw a New Year's party. Friends came to them. They listened to music, drank, and had fun. Such behavior on the part of a mother whose daughter disappeared without a trace seemed simply absurd. On January 3rd, a week after Hayley disappeared, police finally officially reported her missing. This meant that more serious agencies, such as the FBI and the Texas Rangers, could get involved in the case, and so it happened. Representatives of these services arrived in Colorado City and began their investigation. Volunteers continued to comb the area, and more than 100 billboards were posted throughout Texas and beyond with information about the missing girl. Detectives have completely ruled out the possibility of an escape. Firstly, they could not find any reason why Hayley could decide to take such a step. The day before she disappeared, she was in great spirits, and the rest of the time the girl did not show any signs that could indicate a tendency to escape. Secondly, absolutely all of her things remained in the room. If the girl decided to run away, she should have taken at least something with her. Detectives quickly realized that they should take a closer look at Billy and Sean. Their passive attitude towards the search for the girl and the New Year's party made them seriously wonder whether they care about Hayley's fate. Detectives found that on December 27, the same day that Hayley allegedly stayed overnight with a friend, Sean and Billy withdrew $140 from their bank cards. They admitted that the money was used to purchase illegal substances, which the couple took that evening, taking advantage of the absence of children at home. On January 6, it became known that the police had interrogated Billy and Sean using a polygraph. The results were very interesting. Billy failed 2 attempts. Sean also failed 2 interrogations. After this, Billy suspected Sean that he might be involved in the disappearance of her daughter and demanded that he move out of her house. On January 12th, the police officially announced that Sean was being considered as a suspect. Several facts helped them come to this conclusion. Firstly, it became known that the couple's relationship was tense at times. During some, Sean threatened to kill Billy and her daughter. Secondly, among his belongings they found many sheets on which information about serial killers was printed. It later turned out that she and Billy were interested in similar topics together. The police then examined the geological data from Sean's phone and found that his story about the day Hayley disappeared did not match reality. He actually arrived at work, where he stayed for 10 minutes. Only after that, Sean did not go to his mother's house, as he had said before, but went back to Colorado City to Billy's house. Only after some time did he go to his mother's house. It is worth considering here that the police tracked the location of the phone through cell towers, the radius of which is several miles. Therefore, detectives could only roughly estimate where Sean could be. In addition to this, it turned out that he was not fired. He left on his own initiative. The man arrived at work, told his boss he was done, and headed back to Colorado City. After interviewing Hayley's friends and other acquaintances, detectives found even more eerie details. The girl repeatedly said that she was afraid of Sean. Hayley admitted to her best friend that she prefers to spend time on the streets among friends because she does not feel safe around Sean. She once told her grandmother that she often saw Sean standing in front of her bedroom door in the middle of the night. Every time she was afraid that he would come into the room. Soon the police became aware of Hayley's uncle's conversation with Sean, discussing the girl's disappearance. Her uncle said something like this: "I can't believe that someone would harm a child." Sean's answer was extremely strange. He said it was like killing a deer. With all this information in hand, detectives came to the conclusion that Hale lived in a dysfunctional family. Her mother and father often drank and used illegal substances and threw parties. Sean's behavior still seemed extremely suspicious, but there was no direct evidence against him. As a result, the police contacted the guardianship authorities, who decided to take Hayley's older brother. The police searched the house where Sean lived with Billy, as well as his mother's house. A huge discovery awaited them. They found more than 100,000 indecent images of minors on the removable storage device and hard drive. The police also seized his laptop, but apparently did not have time to examine its contents. Sean's father came to the station and demanded that the equipment be returned to his son. It is unknown for what reason, but the police did just that. However, this is not the most interesting thing. Sean received no punishment for the amount of prohibited material on his computers. On March 17, police went to Billy's house to ask Sean some questions. The woman opened the door and said that he was not at home. However, the police showed her a pre-prepared warrant and entered the premises, finding Sean hiding there. For hiding the suspect, Billy received 90 days in prison and a year of correctional time. She was booked into the Travis County Correctional Facility. Upon release, she began to live in this area with Sean. However, already in 2012, the couple finally broke up. Billy began to seriously think that Sean might be involved in her daughter's disappearance. Since then, the case has virtually died down. The police had no new evidence. Volunteers could not find any trace of the girl. That was until March 16, 2013, when a hiker discovered human remains near Jabatories Lake in Scurry County. Experts conducted the necessary tests and found that the remains belonged to Hayley Dun. Her body was 20 miles from her home. Police have not released the cause of death, but sources say it may be due to blunt force trauma. After the discovery of the body, the investigation began to boil again. Authorities have offered a $15,000 reward for any information leading to the capture of the culprit. Their gaze turned again towards Sean, but nothing had changed since the girl's disappearance. The police simply did not have direct evidence against him, but they did have indirect evidence. The girl's case was found just a couple of miles from Sean's mother's house. This coincided with the geolocation date of his phone, because they are determined by towers. Considering such a short distance, Sean could easily have left a body in the indicated area, and no one would have known about it. Moreover, he grew up in this area and could easily figure out where it was best to hide a body, but investigators were unable to find any other leads, and the case went cold again for many years. Despite this, the girl's family had to wait 4 years to bury her remains. A memorial service was held in January 2017. In 2018, Hayley's father Clint said he believed Sean and Billy were guilty. According to his version, the mother either helped hide the truth or was directly involved in the murder. In the same year, he began giving many interviews and tried to actively publicize this case. The man said that in the first years of the investigation he tried not to pester the police with constant questions, but his patience ran out. Detectives did little to no investigation, and his last hope was the widespread dissemination of information, attempts to bring the perpetrators to justice, and it really paid off. In 2019, an unknown person wrote to Clint and said that in 2011 he found several things that could belong to Hayley. At that time, this man was in high school and had not heard about the girl's disappearance, so it did not even occur to him to report his discovery to the police. However, information about these items has not yet been disclosed. Police have not disclosed what these items are. Clint only mentioned that they were found in an area that had been combed repeatedly by volunteers and police. After some time, new information appeared. Private Detective Erica Moore, who was working on Hayley's case and kept in touch with Clint, presented some very creepy information related to Sean. In October 2019, she began receiving messages from various women in Texas. They all said that they were being harassed on the internet in an aggressive manner by a certain man registered under the name Casey. He not only pestered them with obscene messages, but also sent his explicit photos and videos. Given that Sean had the same middle name, Erica asked the women to send her photos and videos that the man sent to the girls. Her theory was confirmed. It really was Sean. She persuaded one woman to go to the police station and file a report against Shauna, but they refused to initiate a case, and they even accused women of falsifying the facts. Erica's plan was simple. She was sure that Sean was involved in Hayley's death. Given that the police could not arrest him for this, the story of stalking women on the internet could put a potentially dangerous criminal behind bars for at least some time. But this plan didn't work. Things went quiet again until something truly unexpected happened in May 2021. Erica and Clint were called to the DA's office for an urgent conversation. There the long-awaited announcement awaited them. Hayley's killer will be arrested in June. Of course, this information was not disclosed after the meeting. It was kept secret until June 14, 2021, when, after 10 years of waiting, the arrest finally happened. The police took Sean into custody and charged him with Hayley's murder. He is currently in jail awaiting trial. However, police STI-LL have not disclosed what new evidence led them to make this arrest. Apparently, this information is being kept secret until the trial. What we do know now is that, shortly before his arrest, the police received permission to take a sample of Sean's DNA. Perhaps there is some connection here with Hayley's things that were found back in 2011. Upon learning of the arrest of her ex-boyfriend, Billie made very strange statements. She said that she was almost surprised that Sean was involved in the murder and added that until the last she wanted to believe in his innocence. She also thanked God that this man would now be punished for what he had done. But why did Billie actively interfere during the early investigation to protect Sean? The start date for the trial should be announced soon. At the moment, it is difficult to say whether a conviction will be achieved. This will depend solely on the significance of the evidence that the police are currently hiding. In any case, Sean remained free for more than 10 years, although everything pointed to his involvement in the murder. Hayley's complaints to friends and relatives, prohibited materials with children, constant lies during interrogations. The man looked suspicious from all sides. As for Billie, she initially showed no desire to seek justice for her daughter. Clint, unlike her, did his best and achieved his goal. Erica Moore hinted in an interview that the case would not have been solved without his active participation. She didn't give any details, but here we can again remember the story about Hayley's found things. All indications now are that Sean may indeed get a conviction, and in Texas, that will only mean one thing: guaranteed death penalty for what he did to a child. It's a shame that this won't help Hayley Dun live a long, happy life.